The Raven is a poem that follows a man hunted by his past. This is shown in some forms of symbolism that we will analyze here.
And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating,
"'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more."
This is the third stanza of the poem, where we can see that the curtains fill him with terror. We can assume that this feeling is caused by the memory of Lenore. This is evidenced in the previous stanza where she is mentioned.
Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating, then no longer.
"Sir,"
said I,
or "Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I'd heard you."
Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word,
"Lenore?"
This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word,
"Lenore?"
merely this and nothing more.
This is stanza 4 and 5, where he opens the door for the last time. When opened, it is mentioned that all he sees is darkness, but still, expecting something from this darkness, he whispers the name of Lenore, his lost love. Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped the stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord and lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore.
"Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou,"
I said,
"art sure no craven, ghastly grim, an ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore."
quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
In stanza 7 and 8, the star of the show finally arrives, the raven. He enters and pays no mind to the resident, as he perches himself on the statue of Pallas, who is the Greek goddess of wisdom, hinting to a spark of intellect in the bird. Not only this, but he relates the raven with hell, which is a symbol for death and suffering. Then, methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor.
"Wretch,
I cried,
thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, O quaff, this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore."
quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
"Prophet,
Said I,
thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore."
quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
In the stanza 14, the narrator asks for nepenthe, a fictional medicine which cures sorrow, so that he may swallow it and forget Lenore. The raven denies him. Once again, in stanza 15, he asks for balm, an ointment used to heal, so that he may forget his sorrow. Yet, the raven denies it again.
"Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend.
I shrieked, upstarting.
Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from my door.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
And the raven, never fleeting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. In stanza 17, the narrator attempts to banish the bird from his house, yet the bird denies him and he is powerless to do anything about it. He calls the raven a liar, yet the sorrow still weighs in his consciousness. To end the poem with stanza 18, the narrator is under the shadow of the raven, who never leaves. The shadow represents his sorrow, which he states shall leave nevermore, meaning he will never get over Lenore.